Hey traders, you ever do a credit spread, naked put, iron condor, any of the above, and you want to know how far to sell your option out of the money? There's no better tool than the Wall Street IO Seasonality and Ranges. Ranges and Seasonality Finder, looking at it, you can see here, how do we put this on the chart? Check this out. We have a simple little tool here called Seasonality and Ranges. So when you're looking at, I'm just taking Apple as an example here. You can look at Apple's chart, and when I'm looking at Apple or the markets or any chart, it's hard to predict, like, number one, the trend, but how far can it move? What's the range? What's typical? So if I go back here and I'm going to put in Apple, for example, does it have a good July? Well, what we have over here is we have seasonality. Number one, over here on the bottom right, you can have a little curtain we can lift up on whatever symbol we're looking at. And it goes back 20 years, and you can see July is an excellent month for Apple. And it's one of the best months, going back 20 years. If I want to click more seasonality, open up the seasonality tool, which is right here. And that is hidden right below the chart, seasonality on everything. And you can see all the data here. So July is its best month. It says, great. I could jump to best just to find that out. And currently we're on July, so it's going to say July. I can look at next month. Or I could pick a month over here. And what I'm looking at, let me hide my face real quick, is the average return is positive. The biggest win is almost 22%. The biggest loss is 5%. So that right there tells me over the last 20 years of data, 5% has been his biggest drop from July 1st to July 31st. And if I want to go back 10 years, I can see the data here. It's last 10 years, it hasn't had a losing July. Last 5 years, and so you have ranges, but I like to go back 10 or 20 years. And then you get what's called the typical gains, the typical move for July. And down below, you can see all the data, and you can highlight it, and it'll tell you exactly which month that was or which year that was. You can even break it down into weekly as far as which week is its best week. Is it front months or front weeks or back weeks, and so on and so forth. And so you have 20 years of data, which, by the way, is more accurate than the delta, because the delta doesn't go back 20 years when you're selling options, but also gives you a range, like a cone. It gives you a stock probability cone based on past performance. So you got a lot of things on seasonality. And what I like to do is I just like to throw it on the chart. So if I'm looking at a stock, like let's say again, Apple, right here under the sprocket, I click seasonality range. Here's earnings. So I put an earnings flag. Here's seasonality range. And it's not just limited to that. There's a lot of flexibility here. So on the seasonality, I can see the green is my upside. That's the extreme. And to the downside, there's your downside extremes. And I could come here and customize this. I'm 20 years, but I'm going to go 10 years. And here's my ranges. Maybe I just want to look at the front month. Maybe I want 2 months. Maybe I want 3 months, and so forth. But if I go 20 years here and I want safe strikes on the extreme, it lets me know that, hey, on the downside, you want to be at least 4.7% out of the money. And there's 298, so that's the biggest drop. And that is actually, if I change this to cone, breaking it down per week. There's your 5.1, there's your 4.7. So now I know which weeks, it's the first 2 weeks, it has had the biggest drops or gains. And you kind of see that the projection here for you directional traders out here for what you can expect as far as the upside. Now you can do it month per month. So I'm looking at right now a compounded. But if I want to look at based on today's price, here's month per month. And just to get a pretty clear view of that, here's month per month. You can see if I look based on today's price. But I also can say, you know what? Not today's price, but compounding. What can I expect on the upside compounding? And let me just shade that in so you can see it right there. Now I can go out further and know my ranges. These are extremes. These are extreme ranges. And you can kind of see the probability cone here and exactly which strike or price level or what percent to be out of the money. On the downside or upside, maybe I want to go do an iron condor. There you go. There's the S&P. Here's the Russell. Now I've got ranges for my iron condor. If you don't know what that is, you should learn it, because this is simply telling you if you do your credit spreads outside these ranges, there's 1 out of a 20 chance it would do that again. So there you have ranges based on seasonality. Take a visual snapshot of that. Customize it to however you want. Do you want bands? Do you want lines? Do you want the cone? Do you want 10 years, 20 years? Do you want 1 month or 6 month or just per month or compounding? And how about this? How about a typical month? There's your typical ranges for the typical month per month. And you can see here that July's good. Then after that, it kind of dies down. This is the Russell I'm looking at. Put any stock up here. Here's statistical. All the data is being provided for you. This is probably number one, if not the best, seasonality rangefinder tool that gives you the tools to actually determine where to sell options and projections, what to expect on the extreme upside or downside. Have fun with it, guys. Brought to you by Wall Street IO. And you can see me every day using this tool in Gino Live, Monday through Friday, where we talk about ranges and seasonality and what have you. Have fun with that. Take care.